In the third part of this lecture, let's discuss about the sophisticated plumbing of our body, which are the arteries, the veins, and the capillaries. So we have three layered veins and arteries. So just like the heart, you have the endothelium, a smooth muscle and elastic middle layer, and you have connective tissues making up the outside layer. This is for the veins and the arteries. Whereas our capillary, unlike the two which has three layers of tissue, the capillary is very thin. It's only one cell thick. This is to ensure that the blood, or rather the nutrients and oxygen, are distributed properly from the blood vessel, which are the capillaries, and the rest of the tissues in the body. Now, let's look first at the arteries. So, the arteries carry blood away from the heart. So, they are the blood vessels on the output side of the heart. So, the arteries close to the heart have large diameters and thick walls. This ensures that when the blood pumps, they won't basically the pumping of the heart causes them to stretch and recoil with each beat. So to prevent the total collapse of the arteries, they must have basically thick walls, and it's also needed to withstand the pressure of the ventricular contractions. So further from the heart, the diameter and wall thickness both decrease because of the distance. You have reduced fluid pressure from the heart. Now, the arteries are divided or branches out into arterioles, which are the smaller vessels. So these they have smaller lumens and have increased surface area, which slows down the blood flow. Because if you have increased blood flow, you can actually, since the arteries connect to the capillaries, some of the capillaries can actually, it may cause damage to the capillaries if you have a high blood pressure. So arterioles lead to the capillaries. Capillaries are the smallest blood vessels, and they are networked together to form what you call capillary beds. So the flow through the bed is controlled by a precapillary sphincters. So the wall of the capillary is one cell layer thick. So they are very thin to ensure that you have rapid exchange of gases, nutrients, and waste across the blood vessel wall. So basically, the capillary are the one that connects the arteries to the veins. So here, you can see here, from the arterioles, you have movement of the blood to the capillaries. So you have reduced blood pressure and increased interstitial fluid osmotic pressure. So the increased osmotic pressure allows the rapid exchange of nutrients and gases. Okay, and then you have your again lower blood pressure and increasing interstitial fluid from the capillaries to the venules. So this ensures that fluid moves into the capillaries at the venule end. So this basically movement of fluid here. So the decreased the blood pressure here ensures that the fluid moves out of the capillaries at the arterial end, and this decreased blood pressure and ensures that fluid moves into the capillaries at the venule end. So this basically is the facilitates the movement of the nutrients, the gases, and waste across your blood vessel wall. Now, from the capillaries converges and forms basically converges to form your venules. Well, not exactly form your venules, but the convergence of the capillaries to the venules. So the veins bring the blood back to the heart. So the blood leaving the capillaries collects in the vessel called the venules. So the venules merge into bigger vessels called the veins. So despite the lower pressure, the blood continues to flow toward the heart due to fluid dynamics. So unlike the arteries, the veins are thinner because there is less pressure here. Now, the problem with the veins is that because of the significantly lower blood pressure here, specifically for the veins from the lower body part, from our feet and our lower limbs, there's actually a challenge to bring the blood upwards back to the heart. So you have your valves to prevent the blood in the veins from flowing backwards. So they have large thin walls and large lumens to reduce the friction and increase the flow. And aside from that, we also have movement of our skeletal muscles. So sometimes they contract to help the movement of the blood, for example, in the veins at our feet. So the femoral, the veins in our legs and the femur. So the veins here are helped by the contraction of our muscles in the legs and the thigh in order to deliver the blood upwards against gravity back to the heart. Because again, in this case, we have a lower blood pressure. Now, we discussed a while ago about the cardiac cycle or the cycles of the heart. Now, let's look at about the circulatory pathways. So, this is actually closely related to the cardiac cycles. We have two cardiac cycles. So, that definitely means we have two circulatory pathways. So, we have the pulmonary circuit, which takes the blood towards the lungs. So, it involves the oxygen-poor blood being delivered to the lungs in order for it to be refueled, or basically for it to pick up oxygen and then go back to the heart. And then after that, we have the systemic circuit. The systemic circuit delivers the oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the rest of the body. So basically, the pulmonary circuit delivers oxygen-poor blood from the heart to the lungs for them to be enriched with oxygen. And the systemic circuit is the delivery of the oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the rest of the body. Okay, so these are the circuit. So we have your pulmonary circuit in pink. Again, the coloring here describes the blue color for oxygen-poor blood. So when it goes to the lungs, you have enrichment of oxygen, so the blue becomes red, and then go back to the heart. So that is the pulmonary circuit. The systemic circuit now is from this the oxygen-rich blood is pumped to the rest of the body, where it delivers the oxygen. So of course, the after it finishes delivery, it goes back to the heart. Now, the systemic circuit can be further subdivided into the actual systemic circuit. We have your hepatic portal system. And also, we have your coronary circulation. So, these are the subdivisions of the systemic circulation. So, for the coronary circulation, it provides blood supply to the myocardium in the heart. So, it's responsible for the supply of the oxygen and nutrients to the heart. Why do we need to have coronary circulation? Isn't the heart already, I mean, it's the pump, it's responsible for that, but because the endocardium is too thick, there is no diffusion in the chambers of the heart. So the heart must then be supplied in a different by blood from a different source. Basically, the coronary circulation here is the delivery system of the heart for of course the usage of the heart tissues. And then we have the hepatic portal system. The hepatic portal system basically is the function of this one is to deviate, or not exactly deviate, because the blood that comes from our stomach and the gastrointestinal tract absorbs the nutrients that we eat in our food, and sometimes all of the not so good materials that we ingest. So it delivers the blood instead of directly delivering the nutrient-rich blood to the rest of the body, and of course the possible poisons or not so good materials to the rest of the body. It first passes through the liver. So the liver serves as somewhat a filter from harmful substances that may enter the body through the gastrointestinal tract, as well as it also controls the sugar. It's one of the it helps control the sugar level, and it is the one that stores in sugar from the things that we eat. So the saying here that if you take in too much of medication, you are harming your liver. It's basically because of this fact that the liver filters out the blood from the gastrointestinal tract. So that's it for the circulation. So in the next video, we'll discuss about certain cardiovascular disorders.